Welcome to What's on Hollywood, where we bring the gravest, most universe-shaking matchups into sharp focus. Today we are confronted with a clash at the limit of storytelling itself: Astral Regulator Thanos versus True Form Darkseid. This is not a skirmish between titans. It is a collision of metaphysical archetypes and omniversal mechanics. On the Marvel side stands a being who seized a device meant to balance infinite realities and inverted it into an engine of absolute will. On the DC side stands a presence that cannot be measured simply by armies or scales of force, because it anchors the very idea of tyranny and erasure. To answer who would win requires careful unpacking of what each combatant actually is, what their canonical achievements demonstrate, and how metaphysical categories alter the meaning of victory. Astral Regulator Thanos, the Mad Titan Ascended? To understand Astral Regulator Thanos, start with the device. The Astral Regulator was built as a guardian of balance, an instrument that could identify and correct systemic anomalies across multiple branches of reality. Its original purpose was preservation by correction. Thanos took that purpose and redirected it into imposition. With the regulator he did not merely heal, he redesigned. He recoded the substrate of causation so that probabilities bent toward his desired configurations. In practice this meant the ability to excise entire causal nodes, to reroute the flow of cause and effect, and to rewrite the connective tissue that links events across divergent timelines. Narrative accounts show him neutralizing the functions of cosmic adjudicators, remaking local laws of nature, and turning contingency into decree. These are not mere displays of destructive might. They are acts of systems engineering on a scale that treats the multiverse as an architecture to be refactored. When Thanos uses the regulator, he operates with both conceptual clarity and surgical precision. He can identify transmission paths for an influence like the anti-life pattern and attempt to cut or reroute them. He can quarantine infected strata of reality and rebuild them under new axioms. He can, within the playbook of Marvel metaphysics, alter foundational constants and suppress entire classes of possibility. Those are feats that place him at or above omniversal significance inside the framework where the regulator functions. True Form Darkseid, the principle of tyranny? True Form Darkseid differs in kind from every adversary Thanos has faced with the regulator. Darkseid is presented, in his highest iterations, less as a ruler who wins wars and more as an archetype that manifests rulership. The dark side that battles heroes is an avatar and an expression. The true form exists outside the multiverse and exerts pressure from a domain beyond creation. His two primary instruments, the Omega effect and the anti-life equation, operate as vectors for a deeper ontological reality. Darkseid encodes a persistent pattern of domination. Where the regulator rewrites rules, the true form alters what it means to choose. Stories that portray the infiltration of Darkseid's influence often show not just the destruction of cities but the removal of agency. The anti-life equation is not a simple beam of damage, it is a procedure that converts sentient agents into instruments of an imposed will. In narratives where Darkseid's presence touches creation, the result is a corrosion of contingency, time fractures, moral frameworks collapse, and the very grammar of decision-making is rewritten. Because the true form exists beyond normal metaphysical jurisdiction, defeating a local manifestation seldom amounts to eliminating the principle itself. Avatars can fall, engines can break, and armies can be driven back, yet the archetype that gave rise to those phenomena persists as a potential that will, by narrative and metaphysical necessity in DC high-level cosmology, manifest again. Cosmic analysis, metaphysics, feats, and strategy. To fairly weigh this matchup we must separate three domains: metaphysical status, canonical feats, and plausible strategies. Metaphysically, Astral Regulator Thanos is a technician of being. His authority presupposes a manipulable substrate. He edits networks, reassigns causal priorities, and converts possibility into enacted fact. These moves are legible as operations performed on an architecture. True Form Darkseid is an archetypal force. His authority presupposes that tyranny can be a stable property across metaphysical substrates. He functions as an attractor that organizes reality toward the removal of free will. Canonical feats reinforce these categories. Thanos, with the Regulator, has neutralized cosmic arbiters and reconstituted large-scale portions of existence. His power is procedural, explicit, and operational. Darkseid's highest feat narratives show pervasive ontological effects, entire realities bending toward anti-life, decisions becoming impossible, and the reappearance of Darkseid's influence even after apparent defeats. Strategy matters. Thanos' playbook would be surgical: find the nodes of propagation, cut the links, rewrite the equations that carry the anti-life pattern, and impose quarantines. He could isolate avatars, excise contagion pathways, and reconstruct local ontologies to be immune to a given pattern. Darkseid's playbook is different. He seeks to instantiate a new metaphysical default. Once anti-life saturates a system, local countermeasures become ineffective because the system itself has been redefined. The key analytical hinge is whether instrumented omniversal manipulation can permanently neutralize an extra-cosmic archetype, or whether a persistent concept will reassert itself after any localized suppression. The evidence suggests both outcomes are plausible in restricted settings, but only one is durable across ontological frames. Verdict: the final result explained? Having weighed metaphysical premises, documented feats, and strategic vectors, the reasoned conclusion is that True Form Darkseid holds the ultimate edge. This verdict is not an argument that the Astral Regulator is negligible. Far from it. In many practical theaters and under many rule sets, Astral Regulator Thanos would be the dominant actor. He would dismantle orders, remove pantheons, and produce outcomes that appear permanently decisive. But Darkseid's true form differs qualitatively. He is an ontological pattern that persists outside the jurisdiction of instrumented systems. Erasing a manifestation or disrupting a transmission path does not equate to excising the archetype from the metaphysical landscape. Thanos is the ultimate systems engineer. He can redesign machines, overwrite protocols, and even supplant authorities. Darkseid is the ultimate archetype. He defines a persistent possibility that outlives particular machines. If you imagine the cosmos as a machine, engineers will refactor. If you imagine the cosmos as a space of meanings, archetypes will re-emerge. In the contest between a regulator that rewrites the machine and an archetype that defines the machine, durability belongs to the archetype. Practically speaking, a useful way to summarize is this: Thanos with the Astral Regulator can and will win many battles and may force conditions that look like irreversible victory. Yet the nature of Darkseid's true form means that victory would likely be procedural rather than ontological, temporary rather than absolute, and reversible in the deeper sense that the archetype can re-manifest under different metaphysical conditions. Final outcome: Darkseid endures without fail. End. Final result: True Form Darkseid wins. Astral Regulator Thanos can impose, restructure, and dominate within the multiverse, but he cannot permanently erase a conceptual constant that exists beyond it. Darkseid's inevitability outlives the most powerful regulator. End. Check out my other videos for more epic character crossovers and battles. Thanks for watching, and stay happy and healthy.